If you're new to the channel and you like what you see, well, welcome to Life of Gaz. Now, I try my best to upload a new video every single Wednesday, and if you want to keep up to date with that, make sure you hit the subscribe button and more importantly ring the bell to get all the notifications. Well, hey guys, welcome to Life of Gaz. Now in this episode what I'm going to do is take a little step back to actually the first video that I actually shot for YouTube, and I never put it on. Now the reason for this was because it was just a test video. I only took one battery with me, and what you're going to see is what actually happened within that hour. Now on this video I went out on a charter boat out of Fleetwood, and this is something which actually I'm supposed to be doing this week, but due to lockdown and restrictions which have gone around the COVID-19 virus, I've had to cancel that trip. So what I'm going to do is take you back about 18 months and go and have a look at what was happening then. To start with today, let's have a look at the rig which I'm using. Now it's very simple. I've got a weight which is on a slider, so that runs up and down the line easy enough. It's a 6-ounce weight, and below that I've got about 2 foot of a hook length, and that hook length's £25 with a 4/0 hook on there, fishing with mainly fish baits. But above that I've got a little sort of sliding boom. This one you just twist on to the top and it'll just stay where you want it to. And off of there I've got a red gill, and this is just in case anything which is sort of more predatory in nature decides to see that coming up through the water, chase it up from the bottom and absolutely slam it. But this didn't happen in the hour I was fishing. I actually did pick up one fish later on in the session which did that, turned out to be a whiting. But it does work, and sometimes you can pick up the odd random fish doing it. And there you have it as well, and the time it's taken me to tell you what I'm fishing with. I've also managed to pick up my first bites and hook into my first fish as well. Now the fishing in this session, in this first hour, was just relentless, and there's actually quite a lot of fish caught in it, not just from me but from also the 11 other people fishing on the boat as well. And after a quick reposition of the bait, then obviously we recast. Now when we recasting, I was just dropping it sort of down the back of the boat really, and letting it sort of float off till I find the area I wanted. Now I did adjust the sort of distance I was throwing it out from the boat occasionally, but it really didn't matter. So what would happen is you'd drop that down the back of the boat, and pretty much straight away you'd start getting bites. Now you need to let these bites develop on this session, and that's because the fish were sort of mouthing the baits, dropping them, picking them back up, mouthing them again, until eventually you felt enough weight that you were confident to strike into it. And that's the second dogfish of the day. Now this area, we'd literally only just got there, only just anchored up, all through our sort of weights and lines and hooks over the side. And the fish were there absolutely instantly. Now throughout this session we do catch quite a lot of fish, and for me unfortunately it's only dogfish, but you'll see other people around the boat occasionally, just as I'm sort of looking around, pulling up the odd ray and also whiting as well. Now later on in the day we were picking up other species of fish. Unfortunately I didn't have any other footage to sort of save from that. Now I love fishing from the beach and I love fishing from the shore, and if I'd have picked up 3 dogfish in an hour from the beach or the shore, then I would have been very sort of happy with myself, thinking that was a very good session. Which is obviously the advantage of going out on a boat, because especially if you've got a skipper who knows the area well, they can take you to marks that they know produce fish. They've got fish finders, depth finders, and these are all great tools in actually sort of creating a successful fishing trip. Now something I'm going to be doing, obviously with the restrictions being lifted hopefully, is the fact that I want to try and get out on a few boat trips this year and just sort of showcase off some of what we actually catch out on the boats here off of Blackpool. Now, that being said, if I get out, and when I do get out, because I'm sure I will, you'll often see me using this old Steel Star rod. Now, it's a rod I was given when I was about 12 years old, so that's about sort of 25 years ago. And this rod I've caught loads and loads of different fish on, and I've got just a sentimental attachment to it. And although it's not as new and shiny as some of the other rods on the boat, this rod is a rod that I've got a lot of trust in, and you'll see me using pretty much whenever I go out on a boat, anytime on my channel. Now, with a few dogfish caught from straight underneath the boat, I thought what I'll do is I'll throw it out a little bit more distance and see if I can pick up something else. But unfortunately for me, variety was not on the cards in this first hour, and that picked up another dogfish as well. In fact, I went up into double figures on dogfish within an hour. Which, don't get me wrong, I'm happy with, because I'm always happy to catch any fish that comes across my bait and keep that scoreboard ticking over. When dogfish are being caught in abundance like this, I often wonder to myself how many of them really are down there, because the chances of catching the same fish on a recatch, so within the first hour catching the same fish twice, I'd imagine would be sort of really quite low. Whereas the fish were coming up at such a steady rate that you'd imagine that there could be hundreds of these fish down there. And to really get an idea of this, something I look up occasionally is a trawler bycatch. And sometimes you see trawlers coming up with absolutely tons of these fish, and I don't mean tons as an exaggeration, it looks like actually physically tons and tons of these fish in one net as bycatch, which unfortunately just get tossed over the side. But to me, I'd just love to know how numerous these fish really are around the waters of Blackpool. Now, fishing here is productive, and we spent about 3 hours fishing in this spot, and throughout that 3 hours we were constantly churning fish over. But as we were fishing the ebb, of course, it's becoming shallower and shallower. After those 3 hours were over, then we moved further offshore to a deeper water mark to then fish the flood. Now, like I said, I am planning on doing some trips out on boats this year, and hopefully with the restrictions hopefully going to be lifted, then what's going to happen is that I'm going to be able to go out and get some footage of some excellent catches that come off of these boats. Just looking round behind me here, you can see just how numerous the fish are. I think as I look round, almost every angler was pulling a fish up at the same time. And of course, with the fish being that numerous, it didn't take long for me to pick up my next bite and reel in my next fish. This dogfish though, he was a little bit on the tricky side to unhook, so what I did was I battled away, managed to get the hook out, and just like all the dogfish I've caught previously and all the ones that followed, he made it safely back to the sea to go off and live his life. Now, one of the things I love about fishing so close to your hooks is the definition on the bites, and if you look at this bite here, you can see there is absolutely no mistaking and no missing it. And this is one of the advantages of fishing here at Blackpool on a boat, because the sea really doesn't get too deep. Now to me, if you start looking at the last few fish which have been caught, it looks like their appetite's starting to increase. Now the reason why I say that is these fish were not doing so many investigative bites, they were taking the bait straight away and hooking themselves. And also if you look, when I'm unhooking them, I'm starting to struggle, which means that the hooks are going deeper down into the fish's mouth, which means that the fish are more intent on taking those baits. Now I've left this one as whole right from cast to fish retrieved to just show you how quick and how ferocious these fish were when it came to taking baits, because this whole video section from casting to unhooking and releasing that fish actually takes less than 1.5 minutes, which is absolutely unreal. And the fish in here just carried on and on and on. I actually caught a fair amount of fish today. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish up this video now, because like I said, I only took one battery with me, which meant I only have 1 hour's worth of fishing footage, and that's only 1 hour out of the 6 hours we actually have rods in the water for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of tie up this fishing video now with the last couple of fish coming up, and you get a chance to see them coming in as well. But we'll definitely make a big effort this year to get out and do some filming on some boats, and we're going to see if we can manage to get hold of some fish and some different species as well. Well, hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that, and at some point in the future hopefully I'm going to find myself out on a charter boat very soon to make a video. But for now, make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Check out my latest video there, and of course my sea fishing playlist up top.